Okay. Turn to your left and let's meet in table. Paw out the hands, shifting the weight from hand to hand. Let the elbows be soft, and sometimes for the elbows to be soft, the hands have to walk back a little bit more than you're used to, so just explore that. Bring a little extra weight to the pinky side of the hands. And then come to center, so you're pressing evenly into both hands. Just like we did from kneeling, except, sorry, you can't put a hand on your sacrum and a hand on your belly here. Explore rocking the pelvis forward and back, trying to find a sense of neutral. And remember, neutral is where the low back still has its natural curve, but there's a sense of spaciousness on the front of the lumbar vertebra and the back of the lumbar vertebra. And when you're doing it, it should feel like the neck can reach forward like a turtle head coming out of its shell. When you found that place, test it a little bit by hinging the hips and taking a few just pure hip hinges. And when the hips are purely hinging, you'll feel the glutes catch the hips almost like a slingshot. And you shouldn't feel a lot happening in the low back besides the deep core supporting you. Nice, Mel. You got it. And then come back to tabletop. Satyam just yawned, so that's how I know his nervous system is down regulating. If you're yawning, that's good. Be patient. It's good for you, especially if you're a fiery individual. It's okay to feel bored. So from tabletop, exhale and start to glide the right foot back, and then inhale, bring it back in. Do this a couple of times, trying not to move anything else in the body. The more still the rest of the body is, the more your deep core is supporting you from the inside out. See if you can feel that sense of support rising up the inner thighs through the front of the spine, really, really deep though, behind the organs. Play with exhaling, pressing the tongue into the roof of the mouth. As the foot glides back, can the head reach forward? Pause there and slide the left fingertips forward and back a couple of times. The next time the hand glides forward, push into the left hand, push into the right hand, reach the left hand forward, up and back. And then we'll take a few spirals like this and imagine on the inhale the whole body inflating to twist you to the left, and then the exhale letting your body soften and melt as the arm circles down. The next time the arm circles down, push into the left hand now. Slowly shift the weight into left knee and left hand, and let the whole right side of the body open up. Reach the right hand to the right thigh. And bring your awareness to the inner thighs. Glide the right leg in just an inch and see if you can feel the inner thighs draw together, and use that strength to activate the deep front line, exhaling to press the tongue into the roof of the mouth. If the deep front line is on here, you might feel like you can effortlessly hover the right leg. It's okay if you can't, but just explore that. Set it down at any time and take a couple of moments just to notice if the right leg feels lighter than usual, with no judgment, just curiosity. And then set the right toes down, set the right hand down, tuck the left toes under. The legs are asymmetrical here, but we'll still push the hips up and back into a staggered down dog. Wag the tail from side to side. Inhale to fill the raft, letting the whole body expand in this shape. And then exhale, find a little bit of softness. Set the left knee down, bring the right knee to meet it. Before we do the other side, let's slowly send the hips back to the heels. Hover the hands. We'll take one jellyfish pulse. And then roll up into a rock back circle, the right arm up and back. And then tick-tock it back the way it came and lower the hands down, preparing for the second side. So gently start to glide the left toes forward and back. Bring your awareness to the center line of the body and see if you can feel that connectivity up through the arch of the left foot all the way inner thighs, pelvic floor, deep core up to the tongue. As the leg reaches back, play with pressing the tongue into the roof of the mouth and notice what the head does and how that affects the weight of the leg. The next time it's back, pause there. And then play with gliding the right fingertips forward and back. It's a little bit subtler, but you might notice as the weight shifts how the core has to support you. And the next time the right fingertips are forward, shift the weight into the left pinky side of the left hand and circle the right arm up and back. Exhale as the arm comes down, let everything soften. And then inhale to reach out and expand, filling the body completely as you spiral. The next time the right hand comes down, shift the weight to the right. It's okay to allow the right foot to slide out a little bit, kind of like a kickstand. Push down into the right hand to float the left arm up. Pause for a moment on the side. Drag the left foot in just a little bit and notice if that helps you stimulate the deep front line so you get a little length through the center of the body. And then keeping that online, notice if the left leg feels light enough to float. It might not. It's okay if it doesn't. Option to have the arm resting on the body. And we're really not trying to lift the leg with the outer hip, but rather by having so much support that it becomes weightless. So you actually feel more work happening at the inner thigh. And then slowly release right hand down, left foot down, tuck right toes under, push into the hands to lift the hips up and back into your asymmetrical down dog. Sway the hips from side to side. And then set the right knee down, bring the left knee to meet it, press the hips back to the heels, take one pause in Bhaktasana. And then visualize yourself as a very happy octopus. And start to push your tentacles, that's your knees and hands, down into the mat as your hollow body hovers and your tentacles push together to propel you through space. Slowly rise up, reaching the arms up. Take one rock back. And then circle the left arm back and down. And then back and up, coming to center. Release the hands down. Paw the hands forward, one handprint. Tuck the toes under. And exhale to hover the knees just an inch. And then inhale, set them down. We'll do this a few times and start to notice the spine, just like we did in the hip hinges before. See if you can feel that neutral spine, so it still has curves, but there's a sense of space in the front and the back of the spine. The next time the knees hover, push into the hands, bend the knees even more deeply as you imagine bringing sits bones towards the heels like a little leapfrog, and then raft starts to fill through the back of the legs evenly. Doesn't matter if they straighten, but you want to feel a sense of evenness. If you're feeling it just at your hamstrings, then you're not doing the raft thing. So exhale, try to release and soften everywhere, coming out of it just a little bit, deflating. And then inhale, push into the balls of the feet and the hands, letting the whole raft fill evenly. Take a couple more of these on your own, or you can just hold and breathe and let the breath do the work. start to sway your hips from side to side. And as you do that, notice how one hand gets lighter. So as the hips sway far to the right, you can lift the left hand a little bit and then try the same thing on the other side. And then start to walk the lifted hand closer to the feet. So you're slowly making your way towards a forward fold. Bend the knees as deeply as you need to, so there's no tension as you do this, especially in the low back. And then if the hands are close enough to the feet, bring your hands to the tops of your feet and just say hello to your feet. Give them some squeezes. Notice any sense of that arch lifting, and it's not a dramatic thing. It's just like a little curve in the medial edge of the foot. And then start to trace the hands up the calves, up the hamstrings, squeezing as you go. Bring your hands to the quads and start to push down to help lift the upper body. And then push down into the feet to slowly rise all the way up. And when you get to the top, close the eyes. And notice if you can clearly visualize the arches of the feet and feel a sense of connection through the feet up to the pelvic bowl, up to the rib cage, up to the tongue.